this is largely an area that remains marginalized. So there's rather more to do about it in future than what has been done. So I cannot recall any exciting initiatives in this regard. There's more we have to do as statutory bodies and stakeholders in the creative arts scene.
NAFTI have a library, and it's mainly films that were made by students and films that we use in teaching, and films that were given to us by other institutions who make films or even teach in films. So Deutsche Welle, all those people bring us films here, and we install them there. The preservation system, we have to still keep some of these old formats there, you know, in air-conditioned rooms, and we also have digitized some, and some of them are on drives and the rest like that. So these are the kind of formats. But the idea is that in as much as we as teachers have started this kind of digitization process, would want to move to that level where we could digitize virtually everything there and have a digitization center, because we used to have one here before some years back.
The National Folklore Board, with other partners like Musica, are working on getting High Life listed by UNESCO, and that would be an exciting development, because if you look at what has happened in Jamaica, what has happened in Cuba, what has happened in Congo with regards to their ethnic music, it will be refreshing to have High Life listed. Now, moving beyond High Life, we have all these traditional genres. You have Damba, you have Magbaja, you have Bobobo, you have Panlogo, you have Kete, you have Ado, and all those traditional genres, if I can put it that way. And we're looking forward to a time when some of these contemporary singers or musicians that we have will be able to collaborate with traditional music makers, so that we can serve the world some of these refreshing rhythms we have. I'd quickly like to indicate that the likes of Youssou N'Dour, Baba Ma, Salif Keita and co. are thriving because they're using their traditional rhythms. And I want to believe that the day that the likes of Stonebwoy and Sarkodie and Wale and Samini and co. start using our traditional rhythms, that will be the dawn of a new era where the world will appreciate the rich indigenous rhythms we have in Ghana. You know, Baba Faisal Helwan in the past sought to do some work where he recorded an album of our indigenous genres. So he has a collection where songs are done in Agbaja, songs are done in Kete, and all these traditional rhythms. And I'm looking forward to an era where the youth will write those rhythms more and project them to the world here.
Well, the most important step that has to be taken for audiovisual preservation would be a sensitization campaign that goes to reach out to everybody in the creative arts scene and even stakeholders, other stakeholders who employ us to produce material that is relevant in terms of film or audio. So at the end of the day, we are all stakeholders, and we have to make deliberate efforts to conscientize ourselves on the need to preserve what we produce. So the bottom line is to preserve what we produce. We have to take the right steps with workshops, with a day in a month dedicated for preservation. For instance, we can decide that at the end of every month, there is a campaign to remind people in the creative arts scene and other stakeholders to make sure they have preserved everything that has been recorded or produced in the month.
I know UNESCO is interested in preservation, but what they need to do is to identify people like us who are interested in preservation of audiovisual material and help us in terms of resources, because at the end of it boils down to resources. Once you get this old equipment and want to even transfer materials, it has to be paid for, it has to be cleaned. Most of them are not too good, they have to be cleaned, and the processes that it passes through to the final process when we have digitized them is money. We still use money in this event, and I think that if UNESCO is interested in such a project, they could contact people like us who are interested in it and are already doing it, so we can get that funding for especially the equipment, the old equipment that we use in transferring. And then we could have a collaboration between maybe an organization like NAFTI, the University of Media Arts and Communication now, and the unit which is NAFTI, which is the Institute of Film and Television, so we can do more of the presentation and also document it, and we could write papers on it to let those who are coming after us, just out from a personal reason, want to leave a legacy of an audiovisual center that digitizes all the old films, because there are a lot of them. Right now, even in my office, I have SVHS and VHS, over 300 pieces that is yet to be digitized, and it's a lot of work, and it's not going to be like a 2 days or 3 days matter, because all of them have to be cleaned before it goes through the process of digitization. And I'm hoping that UNESCO will look at such a project as something that will help all of us, because at the end of it all, we want those coming to come and see what our forebears did, some of the productions that our forebears did.
To stop patronizing pirated music. So if you're driving on the streets of Accra, you see all these boys selling CDs and pen drives, which they do not own. If you buy from them, it's like you're buying stolen goods. It's like you're going somewhere and somebody is selling things that they do not own. Music is somebody's intellectual property. So if you go and copy that song or that video and you sell it, it's equal to going to steal somebody, and you, the member of the public who you're buying that work, it's equal to buying stolen goods. So the first thing is to implore the public to desist from patronizing these pirated products. These days, for as low as 17 CDs or so, you can subscribe to all these streaming platforms, from Spotify to Boomplay to Mzansi, to whichever one is your choice. And that is one way you can be supporting the local music industry. Another way is to tell the good news stories of our music. I'm a firm advocate for playing more Ghanaian music. If you go to other jurisdictions like Nigeria and South Africa, there is a deliberate effort to play up to about 70% of their local content on their airwaves. And here in Ghana, you go to clubs, you'll tune into radio, and they're playing a little bit more than even 50-50. You understand? So that is one way the public can support the music industry. And I think the last thing I like to say is that let's celebrate our own and let's tell the good news stories. There's so many good things happening in the creative industries in Ghana. Unfortunately, every day when you tune into a radio or TV station, yes, we know that generally say bad news sell, but at least let's tell some good news stories about our music industry. So these are, I think, 3 things that the public can do to support the industry.
There have been records of very important audiovisual material that has been lost, even in some TV networks in Ghana, either through burning, as in by fire. Materials have been lost by fire. Materials have been lost with changeovers or transitions in authority. So we think that this is something that we have to cement on the minds of every stakeholder who is involved in the creative arts scene to take deliberate steps to make sure preservation is part of our agenda, is part of our work agenda on a very regular basis, so that we do not go back in future to regret material that was not able to be, that we could not preserve.
I think the general public should be involved because, I mean, for instance, when we were doing the Audiovisual project, we realized that the general public was so much involved because some of them have even recorded a time on VHS in the 70s and the 80s and in the 90s, early 90s, when before the Audiovisual came to an end. You know, so the general public. Besides that, there are some people who are craving for old stuff. If they are involved, so if they have even a tape that has something of an old stuff that you can give to people like us who want to digitize, you can get it back on television or on screens for you to watch again, and it gives us memories. Look at a program like I Told You So. It was shot in 1969 and viewed and telecast in 1970, and yet virtually every holiday you see it on television again. If it wasn't kept well, how are we going to see all this? Look at Nkrumah's speech at the Polo Grounds. 1957 up to now, March 1957, and because we have been able to preserve it, that's how come we have it here. And so the public should be interested in this preservation.